Welcome to the Brass Junkies, a podcast from the Pedal Note Media Podcast Network featuring interviews with the world's greatest brass players by two thoroughly average ones, Lance LaDuke and myself, Andrew Hitz. Today's episode features Boston Brass trumpet player Jeff Conner. He tells us all about life on the road and what Boston Brass is up to in 2015. He also talks about what it was like being on the road with myself and Lance for so many years and shares some of his favorite road stories. He tells us all about it next. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Brass Junkies. I am your host, Andrew Hitz, and I am joined by my beautiful and talented co-host, Lance LaDuke. How are you doing this morning, Lance? Oh, okay. We'll explain that to everyone in just a moment. So before I introduce our first guest, we have we're this is going to be hey folks, this is going to be one of those episodes. If you enjoy them, turn it up, and if you don't, you might want to move along. Before we introduce our hopefully only guest, unless we hang up on him, I wanted to ask you if you could take a moment. A number of you already have. If you could take a moment to go to the iTunes store and give us a rating, and if you had an extra second or two on top of that, if you could leave us a quick review, it is very helpful in having other people to helping other people to find the podcast. So, which is really an incredibly important thing just for the world, I think. So, is that about sum that up, Lance?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Were you going to say something about Austin and Buddy, too? They get mad if we don't say things at the beginning.
I forgot that that I am supposed to say that that Austin, I almost just said Austin Deschler and
I don't think they're married yet. They're engaged. But there was some problem with the registry. They're like, they have to move out of state. I don't remember the whole story, but Austin and Buddy are engaged.
I do like Buddy Boyer.
Buddy Boyer,
yep.
Yeah, they're taking each other's names, which is going to be a disappointment to their other fiancés. But
there you go. They are our producers, so and I am all over the map this morning. So thank you, Lance, because the last time that got forgotten, it was ugly. There was a restraining order. It was pretty bad. So yes, they are from Fred Brass. So now, without further ado, we would like to introduce our guest for this episode, which is Jeff Conner of Boston Brass, our former colleague. How are you doing this morning, Jeff?
Hey guys, it's a pleasure to be here on what's this, blog or Twitter or
Hey guys, it's a Saturday morning cartoon show. Hi children, listen to the radio while we talk about the brass instrument.
No, I'm going to be able to hear this on Twitter, right?
Yeah, just put your ear right up against the computer.
Awesome. Can't wait.
If you keep moving away from the microphone, no one's going to be able to hear anything you say. So,
Hi. Hey guys, how are you?
There you
it's
go.
Great to be here.
There you go. So the reason why, when I asked Lance how he was doing, why he sighed, is because Jeff is very famous, at least when he's around Lance and I, for sighing a lot. The whole rest of the band used to make him sigh a lot, and sometimes he would even sigh in the middle of sentences. Sometimes twice in the middle of sentences, like on the microphone. Audiences would be confused. So you're going to hear some sighs during this podcast. So this is actually going to be fascinating to watch because Jeff is the only original founding member of Boston Brass. As Lance likes to say, he slowly drove each of the others away. But one by one, I believe, is what he used to say on the mic all the time. But Jeff is the guy in the band who who we used to make fun of a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot. Like anytime we were bored, that was basically what we did
all the time.
All the time. And so
all the time.
I have a feeling, Lance, that most of the audience is going to have turned on us by the time this podcast is over.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. There will be a subset of it who will think that we'll be their heroes, basically. But I think that's going to be a very small subset. So, well, let's kick it off right there, Jeff. What memory pops up to you that you can think of that's the worst that we ever made fun of you?
The worst that you made fun of me. I don't know. There's been so many. I mean, there's been great stories. There's been some really great stories. Not that. I mean, it's all in fun. I think that's one of the most important things about being on the road is having a good time and being able to. It's just having fun. I mean, I never took anything personally. I mean, I would go back to my home, my hotel room and cry for hours, but. The ulcer started and all that.
The way towards the end of our run, which had Chris Castellanos in the group, who replaced J.D. Shaw, and who's still there. The way that I could tell that me and Lance and Jose had really gone maybe a little too far was when Chris would go, "Oh man," like that was always we would always be searching for that moment.
It was the faint little voice of consciousness that would creep up periodically.
That's right.
So then we would have to just ramp up the funny, and then Chris would kind of forget that was the role he played, and then he would just laugh along with us. So
yeah,
yep. No. I remember one which we certainly can't get into the details of, but we were in a music store waiting for a master class somewhere in Europe. Maybe it was in Italy or Spain. And Jeff really, really, really doesn't like pickles. And when I say doesn't like pickles, I mean really doesn't like pickles.
Yeah.
And we started a game where we started asking him, well, would you rather eat a pickle or? And that game went on.
It's still or to this day.
But it within 90 seconds, it got to a place where if we were to say it on the air, then Apple would remove us from the iTunes store. And the game went on for like 45 minutes.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Even I was uncomfortable after a while. So
we should play it. You want to play? Let's play a little bit. Hey Jeff, would you rather eat a pickle or a French kiss a French poodle?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I remember the time when we were in Hong Kong, and you were Andrew. You were the one who bet me to eat a chicken foot.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's going to be a link to that video in our show notes.
Yeah. And the money just kept, you started with some money, and then it just got bigger and bigger. Then all of a sudden, Chris put in like $100.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
You almost threw up, which was awesome. Totally gagged.
I did.
Kept it in.
But, yeah.
How much money would it take for you to eat a pickle? There's a number. I mean, if you could set up your son for life and you for life.
Oh, it'd probably have to be $500,000, maybe 500,000.
500,000?
Yeah.
Oh. So we should start a Kickstarter. Does it matter if it's like dill or gherkin or
It wouldn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know what. Yeah.
I wonder if we could get him to do this like during their next appearance at Lexa Brass Week. Like on stage during their recital. Like that. That could. I bet we could raise $500,000 to make this happen.
Yeah.
The video, which you all need to check out, is it's pretty fantastic. There's a whole bunch of students from the Academy of Performing Arts there in Hong Kong, and it's pretty great. Yeah, it started very innocently, and like they said, Chris suddenly threw like, I don't know, it was like $150 into the pot, and then things got real very quickly. So that actually, the face that he made when when that thing went down reminds me of another trip, which is a story that needs to be shared, which is when we were in Beijing, and we had been working with. This was the night that Jeff got the nickname Thumper. We had been we had been working with some military bands during the day, and we ended up going to dinner afterwards with a few generals, whatever they were, of the Chinese army, to a private dining room in our hotel for a real fancy dinner before we headed off to the next country in the morning. And at one point they asked us if we enjoyed wine, and Lance and I both like kind of perked up and said, yes, we do. But what they didn't tell us was that they were bringing us Chinese rice wine. And judging by the quality of this meal, this had to have been some really, 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 really great stuff, because everything was extravagant. And they gave us all oversized shot glasses and filled them all the way up. And they explained that there was this tradition that if you would cheers someone and say "Kampai," then that person would have three sips to get the whole thing down. And so we they said "Kampai" to everyone. And Jeff we'll just say, is not the most adventurous eater or drinker. And so Jeff made what's a logical decision, but which ended up being a horrible tactical error, which is that he decided, he assumed that he was not going to like this, so he just pounded the whole thing, just all at once. And this stuff, I took a third of it, and it went into my stomach. And then, like a flamethrower, it came back up all the way up to like the back of my tongue was bathed in flames, and
it's like turpentine.
It was like turpentine, but with a slightly worse aftertaste. And so Jeff pounded this thing, and then as it came up, he then on the dinner table went. As he lifted out of his seat, as he was willing this stuff to stay down, his eyes were watering. He couldn't see, and in the meantime, the hostess behind him assumed that he really loved it, since he had just pounded the thing, and the rest of us were actually drinking it. So in the meantime, she filled his glass back up, and all the way up. And I don't remember which one of us fine gentlemen and scholars did this, but looked right at Jeff and said, "Kampai, bleep," and then he had this look of fear in his eyes, like no, and then
take them, not me.
Yeah, exactly. and then one of the other guys was like, "Dude, it's Kampai, you got 3 times. Don't be rude." And so that was when he earned the nickname Thumper.
The good times.
All right. What embarrassing story do you want to share, Lance?
It's a good question. This is a family show. Well, we talked about, it's come up twice. This is now the third instance of someone talking about when, Jeff, you were driving somewhere, and I was sitting behind you in the van reading a magazine, and I leaned forward and I said, "Tell me when you can feel this." And then I just sat back and read my magazine. You thought that the world was coming to an end, and we're like careening down the highway.
He was swatting at the air. He was turning left, turning right. Like, yeah, that was.
Oh, I know which one's my favorite. Is when we were in Brazil heading back to the airport.
Yes.
The van window was and the bug the size of an iPhone. Those charger brick that you stick in the wall. One of those bugs like zipped right into his mouth, and he was convinced he was going to die. Well, first of all, he doesn't like to eat anything. Well, least of all, a bug.
Yeah.
And he's making the most horrific gag sounds ever. And then we start in on the, this is a very rare Brazilian insect.
Jose was really laying into him.
Oh, and the presenter, yeah.
That's right. Oh yeah,
they started talking about laying eggs. And, oh yeah, it's just.
Hey Lance, it's dawning on me. We don't even need Jeff on this call. We could have just we could have called it the Jeff Connor Story Hour, and then we could have just let him sleep in. This reminds me of the ice wine incident.
That was a good one
in Switzerland when Jeff likes his beverages very, very, very cold, and he always orders an extra glass of ice, which when you're in Europe, that's kind of asking for like $20 in addition to your drink. It just doesn't happen. So for whatever reason, Jeff decided a number of years ago that there's a hand motion where he puts his hand about a foot off of the table. His right hand with his left hand just under it, and then he lowers his left hand to the table, and he says, "With an extra glass of ice." No one has been able to get out of him why he feels that this is the hand motion for a glass of ice, but that's what he does. And so they said,
"It's called the Connor." We call that the Connor.
We do call it the Connor. And so we say great, and so he orders a Coke, even though they all call it Coca-Cola. And then finally they get to the bottom of it, and he says with an extra glass of ice. And the woman leaves, and then she comes back, and she shows him an already opened. an already opened bottle of ice wine, and Jeff is like what and so
I wasn't going abba.
You were in my version, which is funnier than your exactly, it was that. So then the contact starts talking to her in Swiss. That's a language, right? Yeah, we're talking Swiss, and then then he finds out that he said, yeah, that's it's ice wine, and then you're like, I ordered a glass of ice, and then he does the hand gesture again. He does the hand gesture again, the ice, the glass of ice gesture, and our contact, and he wasn't joking. He goes, oh yeah, that's the that's the hand signal for ice wine. And Jeff goes, what? And then he's like, yeah,
that's the Connor.
Yeah,
how dare you?
Yeah, exactly. You people stole the Connor. So then he sends it back, but then because we were bored, we then started pointing out to Jeff, we're like, what if that's like we're Americans, so they want to make a good impression. We're out in the country, like they probably brought the nicest bottle of ice wine that they have. That's like an $800 bottle of ice wine that you just sent back, and she's now going to get fired, and you're like, what? Do you really think she's going to get fired? And then so there's that. So
good times.
String dance. There's Thifter.
There's a lot of them, aren't there?
There's Japan.
There's
Japan. There's
Japan. Yeah, that's a good one.
Syracuse.
Oh, the speech.
The speech.
You need to tell that story, Jeff. Jeff joined me for the Entrepreneurial Musician, which was surprisingly one of the most popular episodes. But it was he told this story, which this is a classic.
We were up in upstate New York. I forget what town we were in. It wasn't Syracuse.
Oswego.
And we had been up there for about a week. And we did a bunch of concerts and master classes with a lot of the high schools, middle schools, and with Syracuse University. It was a great week. And at the end, we had this dinner at a restaurant. And there must have been maybe 15 of us or so. Included the band directors that we had been with that week, and a lot of the faculty from Syracuse University,
and the music store that we had been
and
with all
the
week.
Music store, Midwest Music, and and then part of the restaurant we were in, and then another side room there was a big party going on. So the dinner's coming to, we're just kind of having a good time, and then I think it was Gabe DiMartino said, hey, why don't, or I don't know if it could have been Gabe or probably you, Andrew.
No, it was Gabe. It was
Gabe.
Gabe. He was, that was the best part of the story, was that he was the troublemaker. And so we could just kind of look back and be like, thank you, Gabe.
Yeah, they started getting loud. I guess they started getting loud, or we started noticing things going on over there and at this party, because there was a big open door. And Gabe said, oh, you should go over and give did he say, go and just go and start talking to them.
Give a speech.
Give a speech. I'm like, well, how much? For me, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
So Gabe, I don't know. Gabe said, "Oh, I got $10 or $20, whatever it was," and then I'm sure it was all the guys in the band that said, oh, I got 10, or so all of a sudden there's this nice little pot of money. I'm like, okay. So I go in, and they had just brought in this cake. It was some kind of graduation party or something. I don't know what it was. So I just walk into the room, and it's, I don't know, about 20, 25 people in the room. And Gabe walks in with me, and I just start talking to everybody. I start making a speech, just saying how great it's been, being up here in Oswego. And, I started telling them what we were doing. What a beautiful part of the country this was. I hope I can bring my family here someday. Just start going on. Everyone's just looking at me like, what is going on? And then they had just brought the cake in. So I'm like, so let's start cutting the cake. And, it just went on and on and on. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
One important detail of that story is that that there was a time limit on it. Like you had to talk for like 7 minutes or something. So.
Yeah, there was. I had to. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like go in, say hi, and then out. There was definitely a time. I had to do this for X amount of minutes.
So you were riffing. That's why you were talking about bringing your family, and there was
I was talking about about the quintet, about music, about just anything I could think of.
I think it was Jose who was on the other side of the divider in our room who had like the timer out, who's just like waiting, and then he finally was like, okay. And then you were like, thank you very much, and then you disappeared.
I think I was trying to get you to do it with your shirt off. Okay. It's like throw in some extra money to do it.
I'd like
bare-chested, like Putin style.
I'd like to point out also, and we need you on a horse. Yeah.
Shirtless man came in and talked at Grandma's funeral.
And
strangest thing. We're getting ready to cut the cake.
Showing my guns. And exactly.
Grandma
flexing and
Last detail of that story that needs to be made clear is that this was at like 2 p.m. This was not an 11 p.m. where no. This was a family affair.
Yeah.
I now have Lance. I don't like you. I now have a vision of Jeff bare-chested on a horse. So we need to get Jeff to play ice hockey and let him score 9 goals. That'd be funny too.
I used to be a good hockey player.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite hockey player, Jeff?
Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr. Who was your second favorite? Jerry Cheevers?
Jerry Cheevers, Derek Sanderson, Johnny Busick. That's when hockey was,
turned in like a 1970 soundtrack.
Hey, this is Lance. We'll get you right back to the interview in just a minute. I wanted to, first of all, thank you all for listening. You've been wonderful. We've got hundreds of you that are listening to every episode, and that's just great. It's very rewarding to Andrew and me. And we wanted to let you know that if you're interested in helping us cover the costs associated with recording and uploading and storing these podcasts, there's a quick and easy way for you to do that, and that's through a site called Patreon, Patreon. And at Patreon, if you sign up through that site, you can pick a dollar amount, $1, $3, $5, $10, however much you want. And every time we upload an episode, your account will be deducted for that amount. And you can set an upper limit per month or per year so that if we end up uploading additional content, that you won't be charged more than wherever you set that limit. You also will get access to some free downloads and behind the scenes things that Andrew and I are working on in preparing for future episodes. So if you're interested in helping out, we'd love to have you help you. Thank you very much for listening. Spread the word. Visit pedalnotemedia.com, click on the donate button, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. And now, back to your regularly scheduled podcast, already in progress.
70 soundtrack, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's back when the Bruins were good. Sad trombone. Oh, boy. Anyway, actually, we could maybe segue into me complaining about the Bruins now.
That'd be fun.
That would speak to our target target demo. The advertisers will love that. All right,
advertisers.
Well, they just give the money to me, and then I don't mention them. We put it in post production. So So Jeff, what's Boston Brass up to these days? Are you guys still a band?
We are. We're going strong. Things are
How
going
many
great.
guys are in your quintet?
Well, right now we're getting right. Let's see. Next week we head up to Potsdam, New York, and then we head down to Disney for Thanksgiving for the Disney on Parade, and then after that we have
That's good routing.
Yeah, I know.
Going as far north in the continent as you can.
And then
not in the continent,
south,
but in the country. Yeah. And then as far south.
Canada is its own continent.
Yeah. And then we have 8 of our big band concerts. So we're really excited about that. Tim Morrison's going to come out and conduct all the concerts.
Hey, man, good to see you guys.
So that's, yeah. So
Christmas carols.
So
fun.
Excited about that. We just got back from the Festival Miami. That was a great time, and got to work with a lot of students down there. Before that, we were over in Switzerland, over in Lucerne. They have an incredible concert hall over there, KKL Concert Hall, which is beautiful.
How do you spell it?
KKL. Yeah.
Did you order any ice wine while you were there?
At one point I heard the words ice wine, and I didn't say anything. I put my hands in my lap, and I just closed my eyes.
Tuck and roll.
I closed my eyes, happy thoughts, looked at my Coke. Okay, I'll drink whatever's in there. That's so. But yeah, we have a really cool program that we've been offering this season called The Nominees Are, and The Nominees Are. And the first half is our favorite pieces of music, and then the second half is all ballad driven. So we have 6 or 7 categories, and there's 3 pieces in each of the categories. And then so during the intermission and before the concert, people choose the second half. They select which piece they want to have. We take a tally the ballots during intermission, and then we go out and do the second half. And then they also put comments on it as well, so we're able to incorporate comments into the second half and make it interactive. So we have some really heartfelt comments, some funny comments, and it's really cool. Really enjoying doing that.
I thought for a second that you said that the second half was ballad driven, and I was thinking like, boy, you guys are. I'm sure you can play the heck out of a ballad, but yeah, the entire second half will be slow, pretty songs. I was like,
first half is adagio movements from string quartets.
Yeah.
Second half is ballads.
That's the kind of thing.
No, not a ballad.
I see.
Ballad. OT.
That's the kind of move that you make when you've decided that your run is over and that you just want to mess with people. You're like, yeah, we're not coming back at our choice. So, yeah.
This evening's program is brought to you by Ambien.
Yeah, it's a fun program. Audiences are really seeming to. They're really liking it. And like I said, we're getting a lot of fun comments that we're able to incorporate into the second half. We have some of the categories are best Broadway moment. Best TV movie theme. So it's, best crooner. We have a section with either Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. you can choose from. So it's.
Can you vote for Jose?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great time. It's fun. Then we just got done recording another CD back in earlier in this fall. So that will be out. Probably January, hopefully. So we're excited about that.
Where'd you guys do that?
Down at Florida Gulf Coast, again, down in Fort Myers. So it's, got a busy, once the first of the year starts, we're pretty busy, through the rest of the season. And then now starting to look at the 16-17 season, booking that now.
This is the 30th anniversary, right?
Coming up, the group started 86, so coming up to 30 years.
Are you commemorating that in any way?
We hadn't really talked about it. No.
You should get a tattoo.
Well, now that you bring it up.
How much would it cost to get you to eat 30 pickles?
What if would you be willing to get a tattoo of a pickle?
Would you rather eat a pickle or get a tattoo of a pickle? Lance LaDuke, I hate saying this, but you're a genius. You're a genius. No, a neck tattoo of a pickle. Oh, yes.
There's
All right.
the sign.
Wait, hold on. We need an answer. Would you rather eat a pickle or
So
get a
all
neck
the
tattoo
listeners
of a
out
pickle?
there, welcome to what my world was.
I'm really disappointed that this scenario did not come up many years ago in that store in Spain. I think it was. That's a great one. So what is it?
You guys haven't seen me in a few years, so you don't.
You don't have a neck tattoo.
There's
no chance you have a neck tattoo.
You got to know me better than that. I'm
tatted
up.
Have you gained?
Is that what they say?
Tatted. No, dude, those are liver spots.
Oh, and there's where I was talking about the audience turning on us. Did you gain a lot of weight? Do you not have a neck anymore? Like, what's going on?
What's that?
What? I'm just wondering if maybe you lost your neck.
For what?
For Lent.
So we're also really excited.
No. That's nice that you're excited. You can keep trying. Eat a pickle, the neck tattoo of a pickle.
It's got to be on the neck.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's called a neck tattoo.
Nothing tells society that you've given up like a neck tattoo. So that's where it needs to be.
Then a neck tattoo.
It's the glee with which he says it.
He says, I had not officially given up until this interview started. All right, so
now you can
tell us about your camps that we don't care about, and then we'll tell more stories.
So we have, we're going back to University of Wyoming, and next summer, the second week of June.
That sounded really cool, what you did last year.
Brass, summer intensive, and Tim is going to be out there. Tim Morrison is going to be our special guest. It's a week-long seminar. We're excited about that. It's going to focus, large, small ensemble. Tim's going to be doing some orchestral rep classes. And then we're in the stages of, we're going to be announcing soon a camp we're going to be doing at Tennessee Tech the end of May for college students as well with Joe Herman. So we're excited about those two ventures, and you'll be able to find stuff on our Facebook page and website. And
how often do you go to the Facebook page, Jeff?
I know we have a Facebook page. No, I check it.
You are lying. You're lying.
It's Boston. It's www.facebook.com/Boston Brass.
Well, the fact that you know the URL does not indicate that you've ever been there.
When you go and you can see, you go and then you click that, and there's the Facebook page, Boston Brass.
you click that. You need to
push the button on your magic box, and it takes you to this place.
You type in the URL, and then you click on it. Since you've somehow just entered a
there's
hot
some great
link.
things. No, the guys do a great job keeping it. Domingo and Chris and Jose, they do a great job keeping it, up to date and put videos and pictures, and every time wherever we are, and they do a good job with it.
So, speaking of Domingo, this is a little awkward, but Lance and I would like back in the band.
How's that working out for you?
We just wanted to put that out there, that we're both interested in going back out on the road. So do it that what you will.
Well, that would be a meeting, wouldn't it?
That would be a meeting. That would be pretty funny. Do you guys still do chair tests? Can I try and take Sam down?
How's that working out for you?
Oh, goodness. All right.
It's been, as you know, having Sam, I never, when the group started, I was a student at Boston University, and at that time, Empire Brass were the teachers and faculty members there. So they were our first teachers and coaches and mentors. And so, Sam was our first, teacher and coach, and, just grew up, idolizing them. I thought they were the best chamber music ensemble in the world. You're either from the, playing brass chamber music, you were either from the Empire Brass school or the other school from the group that was up north. And
New Hampshire Brass?
The what?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Potsdam, New Hampshire. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, that other group. And so, I never in a million years would have thought, that, Sam would be a colleague and, playing in the band. And it's just, watching him teach and just is incredible. And just even in our rehearsals, it's, how he's able to rehearse and produce, and just, the way he operates business is just incredible.
All right, so back in 2013, when he was talking with you guys about joining the group, the scenario that plays out is you can have Sam in the band if you eat a pickle.
I'd take one for the team.
Wow. Wow.
Sam.
Wow, Sam the man. There you go. Wow, I don't believe you, but that's awesome.
I would.
Wait till
it'd have to
Sam
be a
hears
small.
the things that you would rather do.
It'd have to be a small pickle. I mean, it just,
Oh yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes.
I believe maybe a sandwich slice would be appropriate.
You always got to read the fine print with this kid, don't you? Oh man. So where is your favorite place that you have traveled with Boston Brass?
Singapore.
Not Oswego? You told those people that you wanted to bring your family there.
That was Oswego is a beautiful place. I mean, all the lakes, the schools are great up there. We had nice weather. At that, I forget what time of year it was.
Yeah,
I remember it
it's
being
known
nice
for
weather.
it's known for its weather. Yes.
Nice weather, yeah. But no, for me, Singapore, Hong Kong, Italy is cool.
Yakima.
Yeah.
Well, good. I expected that answer to be longer, but you just kind of talked very briefly. Well, what is it that you like about Singapore?
Well, we've been half dozen times, I think, and we were just there this past March.
That was your eighth. That was your eighth trip.
Eighth trip.
Yep.
It's our. We are visiting artists in residence at the Young Soto Conservatory over there.
Young Suck Toe?
No.
It's not Young Soto either. So, anyway, that's awesome, man. That you're visiting artist in residence and you can't even say the name of the school right. So, all right. Anyway, so there was the sigh. All right, good. It had been like 15 minutes. It was getting awkward. Anyway,
and so we've had a great relationship over there, and we go over. This past year, we worked with. It was a week-long residency that we did. Worked with some beginning brass bands, and then worked with the high school band, and then worked with the college students, and it culminated in a big concert featuring all the ensembles. And then we had the students from the conservatory. They helped coach and teach the beginning students, so it was great. I mean, we really left an enormous footprint over there by the time the week was over, in terms of from students of all brass players, musicians of all ages over there. The facilities are incredible. The city is incredible. It takes a long time to get there, but it is once you get over there, it's fascinating. Love the weather.
Yeah,
I wish we could be going every year.
The first time that we flew over there, then you fly all the way over to to Tokyo, and then after a layover, you then have another 6 hour and 40-minute flight.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, and that one feels pretty short actually after the 13-hour one to Tokyo. So
True.
But well, cool. There's so many directions we can go here, Lance. That what do we talk to him about next?
That actually just reminded me of it's inadvertently a Jeff Connor story where you and Jose and I went to go be on the equivalent of the Today Show in Asia.
Yes. Asia This Morning,
which goes out to Australia. I mean, it's like
the whole continent.
Millions and millions.
Yeah.
Of millions, probably hundreds of millions of people watch this thing. So they put microphones on us, and they're getting ready to send us out on stage, and the producer goes, "Did you guys get the pre-production questions?" And we're like,
Sure.
No. And Connor got them. It was like, those guys will be fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, Lord.
So we go out there, and I don't know why the Matt Lauer of Asia this morning was fascinated by this, but he was like, "Do you guys ever get hot when you're playing?" We're like, well, yeah, I guess so. And do you ever have like sweaty lips? And we're looking at each other like, I guess that. I mean, yeah, I suppose that happens. And he's not letting go. He's like, well, was there some sort of incident having to do with sweaty lips? So this is obviously leading somewhere. But I was dropped on my head a lot as a child, so I decided to take the ball and run with it.
Jose and I just kind of sat back. We're like, hey, Lance, LaDuke, as he was called, why don't you take this?
So I said, well, our lawyers have asked us not to talk about the sweaty lips incident. And, his instinct was that he was like, this was a real thing, and he had great TV. And then it was about a 4 Mississippi till he was like, oh, no, this guy's a...
Hey, Austin, you should bleep out him saying bleep.
Oh, that would be better. That's good.
And then there'll be me saying you should bleep out the bleep. Yeah, anyway, sorry, continue.
So this bleeping guy says, so I said, it turns out that when Boston Brass was being formed, there was, our original name was Sweaty Lips.
That's right.
And there was already a group called Sweaty Lips, and there was like a big protracted legal battle about who retained the rights to the name Sweaty Lips, and now we're traveling internationally, and so it's probably better if we just don't talk about it.
Good times for millions of people.
Yeah.
By the time we showed up into Korea after getting off of the plane, all you have to do, we thought it was just this little TV interview. It was going to take 2 minutes. And it turned out to be, we had just gotten off the plane into the studio, and it's like a 45-minute program of us playing.
With a live studio. It was like Austin City Limits of Korea.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably the worst that the band has ever sounded in my 14 years on the job. And
it's all over. You can still see the videos are up.
Oh yeah, and they're terrible. Yeah, they're really terrible. So yeah,
well,
and
we couldn't stand where we normally stand because
correct.
They
put us in one spot, so we're doing jazz tunes, and I'm like over on the edge, and like so the bass isn't in the middle, and that was really fun.
That's fun.
That was really fun.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was.
All right. This is my attempt at asking you a normal question. Are you ready for it?
Okay.
I am.
How has the industry changed? What are the challenges now? How are those different than the challenges when you were, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago, or even at the beginning?
I think it's a lot more difficult. I think presenters are asking more of the groups. I think you have to have. I think more. There's a larger educational component. You have to have. There's, in terms of the programming that you do. I mean, they are worried about filling. Presenters are worried about filling the hall, of course. In ticket sales, so they want to make sure that whatever they bring in, it can't. That it's going to be a home run. I mean, that's what they want to do every time. And so, I mean, I think just thinking about programming, being inventive with your programming, being, constantly being, as J.D. Shaw said, you always have to be producers, not consumers. So we're always doing that with our collaborations, with the type of programming that we're doing. Now, what we've been doing the past couple of years is building mini residencies around halftime shows. So we'll go into a university on a Wednesday, and we're able to do, rehearsal with the marching band, do a solo concert. We have 8 different master classes that we can offer. So a school will be able to choose 3 or 4 clinics that we'll do. And then we do, a halftime show. So we're able to be more global or leave a larger footprint within that community as just going in and doing a concert, hit and run concert. So it's having more of an impact is, I think, crucial. It's harder, I think, to get the attention of presenters because they are getting inundated with everything. It's not, I've never looked at other Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, I really don't. I'm not concerned about other brass groups getting on a particular concert series. It's, there's thousands and thousands of groups of individuals, acts, novelty acts, Broadway shows, orchestras that are trying to get on, an 8 slotted roster for a concert series. So I think it's having all the right the tools, the people, it's perseverance. I have never been afraid of the word no when somebody, a presenter or organizer has said, no to me. I'm always, I think that it's having somebody in whatever group you are in, or as a soloist, that somebody who is always going to be making sure that people are thinking about you, whether it's management, instrument sponsor, making sure it's presenters or following up, and it's.
Did you die?
Sorry about that. Sorry.
What?
What happened?
What?
I got a phone call. Yeah.
From an 8 slotted roster.
Yeah.
That was dramatic.
Yeah. Oh, now I lost my train of thought.
The secret to life
talking
is
about networking. No, networking. It's not about it's not about instant gratification. It's about fostering relationships over the course of a career. So it might take me 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years to get into a concert series or work with a particular program. So
you must have like an extensive computer database that you have all this stuff lined up so that you know that you can get back to these guys and sort of set it up for 3, 4 years down the road. You must be super organized about all that.
It's all in my. Yeah, I do. You may think I'm not organized because you see all the papers in my.
Oh, I know you're organized.
But no, with that stuff, I have a good memory in terms of I need to contact this person. Need to contact this person. I have my lists, and it's just it's constantly every day, every day sending out emails and just keeping the relationship going, whether they're bringing us in or not, about that. And that's the thing that a lot of young groups don't understand. They want that instant gratification. They're not willing to do the, all the hard work. I mean, as you guys know, I mean, it just takes, it's, your career doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. And, it's having the right people, having the right people around you, and just working hard. I
would actually, piece of advice for people, I would suggest that you join a group like Boston Brass right after they've had their breakthrough. So it's easier that way. I think it's safe to say that 2000 to 2014 was a more fun 14 years to be in Boston Brass than 1986 to 2000. So I think I did pretty well there.
But no, even the beginning years, it was fun. I mean, just trying to figure things out, and I mean, every year has had it has been great. In one way or another.
The joke when I joined the band was that that back in the day that that there would be a band meeting and that they would say that someone was offering them a $100 bill on the Vermont-Canada border to come play like 4 hours of quintet music, and did we want to go get it?
Yeah.
But that's how everybody starts.
That's
right?
What it was. Yeah. That's what it was. And you go, we would go up there and have a great time and thank the presenter, and I think it was the best gig in the world, so it was. Well,
that's not true.
No,
you're just fibbing.
But that's what you tell the presenter, and or the contractor, and that's what I tell students that, no matter what kind of, you're all going to do gigs that you're not going to like the music or the people that are around you, or it's not going to pay a lot of money, not going to be great conditions. But it doesn't matter, because when you are on that gig, it is the best gig in the world, and you thank the contractor and the musicians around you, great seeing you, and, thank you. Please let me know if I can play again. And, you never say anything bad about the gig, until you're in your car and you're, down the road. So,
yeah,
and all of us have had those gigs, but, you still have to be professional and easy to work with. And,
the story that I tell too often, and yet if even one person hasn't heard it, they should. The Rich Kelly Central Park story when he was summer after his freshman year of Juilliard, and he was playing in August in Central Park. It was like a 2-hour show of all marches, and he was playing third trumpet, just going dup dup da 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 for 2 hours, and New York City is a horrible place in the month of August. It's hot and sweaty and smells bad and everything else. And the woman who was next to him told him a few tunes in that he sounded really good, and Rich said thank you very much. And then like maybe half hour later, she turned to him and she said, "You sound really good," and he said thank you so much. And of course he was smiling, he wasn't complaining, even though it didn't pay very well and it was outdoors and horrible. And she then said, have you ever played on Broadway? And he said, no, I haven't. And then she said, would you like to? And suddenly he got real focused and said, yeah, of course. And it turned out that the woman who was sitting next to him was the contractor for Kiss of the Spider Woman, which was one of the biggest shows on all of Broadway. She didn't have sway. She was the person who decided what trumpet player and what drummer and what etc. was on that gig. And Rich started playing on that regularly. And he ended up playing so much on Broadway that I think it was October. It might have been 2 months later that he was quote unquote kicked out of Juilliard because he was working so much that he couldn't go to class.
Yeah.
So and generally, even trumpet players like that woman don't generally sit down and shake your hand when you meet them and say, "I'm really important, so you need to be on your best behavior." They just kind of blend in, and so you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's stories like that for so many people, and also, I mean, as you guys know, the musical world is smaller and smaller as you get farther in your career. So you everyone's doing 1 degree separation. Go ahead, Lance.
How many more years do you have in you, Jeff? You got another 20? You make it to the 50th anniversary, you think?
Sure, I can do it. Yeah.
I think you could.
I'd like it.
Well, wait a minute. So I'm doing the math. You're in
He's
your early 50s.
65 now.
60.
I remember sitting next to John Philip Sousa, telling him one day I'm going to have a quintet.
We were in the same high school graduating class.
I was a senior.
It was a real upset when Jeff won the John Philip Sousa Award for being the best member of the band instead of John himself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still loving it. It's a challenge because the excitement of, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, looking a year ahead and not having any income at all is that lights my fire, and so that's an enormous responsibility. In terms of making sure that there's enough work on the table for the 5 people in the band and their families. So yeah, there's still parts of the world I want to see and play. We're still really involved with music education, thanks to Jupiter. So yeah, I think we got a lot of miles to go. So it's pretty exciting.
Where do you want to go?
I still want to go
Hawaii.
to Australia. So when there, I want to get the band to Hawaii. I'd like to go to India, Dubai. Going to Russia, I think, would be pretty cool. I know you guys have been there, but I think getting the band there would be really cool. Yeah, I think we've been to maybe 30 or so countries. More South America we want to get to. We've only been to a few countries down there, so we want to cover more territory down there. Yeah, still lots of places to see and visit, and that's one of the great things about being a musician. You have these opportunities.
I can't take the road anymore, and physically it just takes this huge toll on me. Well, psychically, emotionally, physically. But how are you
spiritually?
You've been doing it spiritually 30 years. How do you do that?
I've never gotten tired of the road. It's just kind of what in my DNA. I mean, and I'm pretty very routine, when it comes on the road.
Really? Would you say that?
Routine.
Routine.
Is that
yeah.
right? Huh.
Says the guy who, when we're in Tokyo, he says, "Where is the nearest TGI Fridays?"
Well, that's routine. I'm pretty B flat. No, it has never. I enjoy it no matter where we are going. I don't mind the car rides. I don't mind the flying is definitely harder now. It's more of a headache, but you make it work, and I think just knowing that you get to go and play music, and that's how you're making your living, and meeting people, working with students, and I got a lot of miles left in me, and I'm gonna, nothing's gonna stop it. I'm just gonna keep going, and another 20 years, maybe. I mean, that would be great, and then kind of just keep the band going after that, see what happens, who's in it, who may want to continue it. And, that would be pretty cool to leave, a legacy like that, or, have a group that's, able to continue, without the original members in it. So.
I've rethought it, actually. I don't want back in. So just Lance just reminded me about the road. So tell Sam.
Then ignore the email.
Tell Sam he's safe.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sam's going to be mad, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you're rehired, Sam.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Can you talk to us about your book?
The portfolio. Thank you. Yeah, the portfolio musician case studies in success. Did it with John
that's
Laverty.
Enough. That's enough. Yeah. Thank you.
Did it with John Laverty, who was director of bands at Syracuse University, and we were really pleased with how it came out. It has a lot of chapters about just the business side of music, but what's really cool is we did 47 interviews with people, and from various stages of their careers, from students who had just gotten out of school and people who have been in the music industry for 50, 60 years. And it's every facets of the music industry. It's not just trumpet players, it's not brass players, it's everything, all genres, all kinds of musicians. And just, talking about, perseverance that they all talk about. And just kind of the underlying factor is, what advice do you give to young musicians? And, they talk about their stories and, what path how they got to where they are. And it's pretty interesting. So I think there's something out there for everybody, out there. So, and it's an ebook, so you can get it on any e-platform. So yeah, we're really excited about it. I think people are buying it. I mean, and the other book that besides that, I love people to get, the Portfolio Musician Case Studies in Success, is David Cutler's new book, The Savvy Music Teacher. I just got it. It's awesome. Every musician needs to have that book. It's just, it's critical for them to have. So yeah, definitely give a shout out to David and his new book.
You mentioned collaborations. What kind of collaborations do you have going on?
We have, our big band, our holiday big band collaboration that we do is It's a 15-piece brass big band where the concert is kind of the centerpiece of the concert are the Stan Kenton Christmas carols, and Boston Brass plays a bunch of solo stuff, and it's just a fun holiday program. We also have a program called Notes from the Balcony that Lance you designed and came up with, and that features it's all based on features the music of based on the music of Romeo and Juliet, and it features the Prokofiev for Romeo and Juliet and the symphonic dances of Bernstein from West Side Story. And we did it at Singapore. How many years ago was that? We did it in Singapore.
Gotta be
with the Tang String Quartet.
6, 7?
Yeah, 6, 7 years ago. And now when we do it in the U.S., it's with the Enzo String Quartet, and it's with string quartet, piano, and 2 percussionists. So we do a couple of those every year. We have a collaboration with the Amani Winds, the music of Gil Evans and Miles Davis, Porgy and Bess Sketches of Spain suites. We're doing a lot of work with wind ensembles. We're recording a CD coming up in May with Eric Rombach Kendall and University of New Mexico and his wind ensemble. So we're real excited about that. We have programs with orchestra, with marching bands, wind ensembles, brass bands, brass ensembles. You name it, we can, pretty much have the music or can write. I mean, now we have 3 writers in the band. Sam, Jose, and Chris are now doing all the writing. So that's pretty cool. To have all just music constantly coming into the group.
In all fairness, you end up rewriting a lot of it.
That's a joke, Jeff. Jeff thought I didn't realize the sleep apnea and just like go down. Narcolepsy, or is it apnea?
Why, Lance? You're suddenly incredibly soft. It sounds like you're in a yeah. You just have to take my word for it, audience. What he said was just incredibly insightful and inspiring.
I don't know.
That was weird.
There he is.
That was wicked weird, kid. All right. So I'm sorry, Jeff.
Fun.
You never
being
rewrite.
Out on the road, it's every tour is a little different. Whether we may be doing just a couple solo concerts, or we might be playing with a wind ensemble. It could be a college band, a high school band, a middle school band. We could be playing with a professional orchestra, a college marching band. I mean, every tour is a little bit different, so that makes it fun as well.
Cool. Well, Jeff, you have been a fantastic guest. You far exceeded my expectations. We're admittedly
really surprised.
Pretty low. Yeah. We just did it because we felt like people would be asking questions if we didn't have you on. But you've actually been charming.
Well, thank you.
Which is
great talking with you guys.
So we can actually talk to you again now.
I'm going to. I need it. Okay. Here's a call to the audience. Can anyone who is really good at Photoshop produce me a photo of Jeff Connor with a pickle neck tattoo?
Awesome.
That would be really awesome. We will post that on the Pedal Note Media Facebook page, and we will even sponsor that post so that it gets seen by a whole lot of people. So if anyone's good at Photoshop, you will get an on-air shout out by us, and that would be. I can't wait for that. That's going to be good. It's going to be good.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
but make it a cool looking pickle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely.
I should see now.
As opposed to those nerdy looking pickles.
Exactly. Make it with spikes coming out of it, and and chains, and make it cool.
Jeff, you should have stopped talking, because now I'm going to specifically ask for someone to give me a photo of Jeff with a bad neck tattoo pickle, neck pickle tattoo.
What? Write a song.
Yeah. Oh, Lance is going to write a neck tattoo pickle song.
Pickle neck tattoo.
There you go. This is everything is. See, this is how creative Lance and I are. Just fall like these brilliant ideas that will have large impacts on a large demographic just fall out of our pie holes. So, And then we ask other people to do the work.
Ooh, pie.
Yeah, pie. All right. So, Lance, who?
Yes?
Oh, that's the other thing Jeff and I wanted to talk to you about, Lance, is that Jeff's the new co-host. You're fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
That's exactly how he left the Air Force Band and and the brass band at Battle Creek and Boston Brass and now Pedal Note Media. He's like, okay, see ya, and that's it. And it's just click.
I quit River City twice. Those guys they've got the record.
Yeah, they've got the record. So, Jeff, that's your name, right? Yes, Jeff. Do you have any parting words of wisdom or what you want to plug the new album again?
Well, we have our newest album is called Rewired, and it came out this past about a year ago. But we just recorded a new one. It'll be out in January, and I'm not sure of the exact date yet. We're still in the final stages of putting it, doing all the mastering and putting the booklet together. So that will be
Are
out
CDs moving
soon.
Still at concerts?
We are, yeah. We're moving CDs. I mean, especially when we have, we're playing a lot of the music most of the music we're playing is on the CD. So,
what about CD sales when you're not like non-concert sales? Are you guys moving many that way?
No, mostly we move them at.
I'm trying to put you on
concerts.
the spot. I'm just curious because nobody is. Yeah, it's primarily concert.
Yeah. It's point of purchase. They see it and they want to take something back from them.
Sure.
From the concert. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do that, and then this new CD we'll be doing. We'll start bringing incorporating music from that CD into our program. So. Yeah.
Cool, man.
This has been great. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great catching up with you guys.
Did you want to ask him about Jens?
Oh, I totally forgot. Do you have any advice for our dear friend Jens and the chop problems that he's been going through?
Jens is a beautiful person. I think Jens is doing great.
He's doing as well as he can. This reminds me of one of my favorite Boston Brass stories, actually. When young Jack Connor was like 5 or something like that. We were at a diner because we were doing the big band Christmas show. Actually, I think this is when it was at my high school at Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School, and we were at a diner, and we convinced Jack. There was 10 of us out at breakfast. What's that place called over in Westboro?
Harry's 2.
Harry's 2. That's it.
Yep.
So we asked Jack. We convinced Jack to say to Jens when he got to the table, like it was like, "Hey man, what's going on with your chop problems?" And and he was chickening out. We're like, "Dude, do it." And Jens and you could see Jens inhaled to lay into him, and then he went, ugh. And the whole both tables erupted, and we carried Jack out of there like he was Rudy. It was awesome. And then Jens was like, "What are you gonna do? Talk back to a 5-year-old? You've already lost." He said he just cut his losses. So that's one of my favorite Boston Brass moments. So, good stuff. So you think he's a beautiful person? So that's like code for hang it up.
Right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Whatever, neck tattoo.
Not at all. Yeah.
Not at all.
Not
Just
at
keep
all.
saying it. We'll believe you eventually. Not at all. Not at all.
Now, he played with another quintet, right? He played with a quintet.
I think it was the Enzo Quintet.
The Enzo Quintet?
Yep.
Yeah.
When he had that solo show that was Flaming Brass, or what was it? Flamethrowers of Trumpet. Sunday.
We've
Jens Lindemann.
We have already
Monster
said too much.
And trumpet flamethrowing.
All right, Jeff Connor. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for
Thanks
joining
for having
us.
me. I appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
been great talking with you guys, and it's been fun.
It was fun. I would say any time, but that's not true. So, we'll...
Well, if you want to come on when the CD's released,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
let us know.
Yep. We could do that. Sounds good, man. All right. Well,
Maybe
Cool.
we do like a
That'd
track
be
by
fun.
track.
More stories.
a big thank you to Jeff Connor of Boston Brass.
More stories.
Yeah, more stories. Yeah, well, I thought of a whole lot more, but they're not podcast. I'd have to brainstorm for good, funny Jeff Connor stories that are that are digestible by everyone.
Yeah. The Japan story is the best one. I don't know I don't know if you could tell that.
The Japan story.
Yeah.
Gas.
We're
story.
gonna save that one for the next episode. Yeah, because that's
a long one. That could be a whole episode.
It can't be. That can't be rushed. That
and you got to put the picture. You have pictures. I mean, everything. Oh yeah, you need props and everything for that one.
Go to the show notes. Follow the show notes to the link of him eating the chicken foot in Hong Kong, because it almost comes back up and it's awesome. So, all right. Well, that will do it for another episode of the Brass Junkies. You've been listening to The Brass Junkies on the Pedal Note Media Podcast Network. If you would like to help support the podcast in order to make more episodes like this one possible, please visit pedalnotemedia.com/donate for more details. Also, be sure to check out our latest recording, The Brass Recording Project, at brassrecordingproject.com. The Brass Junkies is produced by Austin Boyer and Buddy Deschler of the Fredericksburg Brass Institute. Executive producers are Andrew Hitz and Lance LaDuke. This has been a presentation of the Pedal Note Media Podcast Network.